kidogo kilo so meche ya amenda so ndachia kidogo kilo askongoi
Karam sana.
Samge.
Samge.
My name is Hilary Talam. I work for a company, or I work for about 3 companies as CFO. So I run a business, or we run a business called True Black Limited, where we enhance brand value. We are a very niche business. If you have seen people doing promotions in the supermarket, we are the brains behind it. So we develop strategies to ensure that corporates are reaching their consumers. So experiential marketing, we do distribution, we do for FMCGs, so we provide distribution business for the second part of the business, and then the third business actually is digital marketing. So we take advantage of technology to bring corporates into the digital space. I come from Elgeyo Marakwet. Thank you. My expectation is actually to see that the roots of Haka works, because this is an inaugural meeting. So today my expectation is actually to ensure we cement it and have the roots. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So ibo.
Kongera utoni. Chamke koyo kichu. Ochamegei? Oi sanyon. Kikurono Samson arap soimo. Koyokindetab mwanik chechute tankishek. Ak chemondoi tankishek eng kampunitab Kenya Pipeline. Ngimeche inai ole chutito tankit ak ole mondoitoi itebena. Mamache amwa chechang amu mitei motirenik chechang chemi tuche ingen mising akobo ngoliondonoto kamwa koting kityo kole nguno ngotukyi sikomwa the remaining. I think expectation neotinye koin kamang'unet noto no kikeni kekas komwa kole ne kai nemi tai yo ko noto ne kamang'unet nenyunet. Kongoi mising. Thank you very much.
Kongoi soimo.
Akato ngainetab Jesu alo amune. Mimi naitwa Joseph Tonui from Bomet County. I work with Kenya Revenue Authority as a deputy commissioner. Lakini kama anyona taxe nogra. Ka anyone gibur tugul. My expectation, Kalenjin people, we are very poor in network. And sometimes we don't get opportunities to sit together and strategize. If you compare with the other people, Mount Kenya people, they always have catch-ups on weekends. They eat nyama and they discuss business and even strategies from where they come from. So I'm not seeing this gathering in the perspective of accountants only. It's a time for us to come together and ensure that we strategize together as Kalenjin community, even in terms of even planning for seats and knowing the people where they are in organizations and building them to ensure that we can move them to the next level. I think that is very important. And secondly, we want to build a very strong, formidable force in this team as ACA, so that even we will be called to the table to say, give us an accountant who can be a controller of budget or auditor general or whatever positions the accountants can be able to do. And in another space, I will encourage accountants to pay tax. Those of us who are tax consultants, you know taxation is fair. Tell your clients to pay their fair share. And I can tell you for sure, The number of people who are paying tax in our country are very few. We are 54 million. The number of active taxpayers who have PINs are 22 million. And the people who actually pay something, they are 8.6 million. If you look at the tax structure, we collect more from pay-as-you-earn, almost 600 billion. From VAT, it does very poorly. And every business or organization, you will see small businesses. We should expect VAT to be bringing 1 trillion. So we want to encourage Kenyans. We run self-assessment regime where you have to declare, but we need to be truthful. The burden will come down if many people are going to pay tax. So thank you very much.
And I've always some few people. The next Auditor General or Controller of Budget lazima ubunrumini. Agono to lazima ge negotiate. Kabisa the next of the two positions, Controller of Budget, those are independent officers. They are the only two independent officers in this country. So the next Controller of Budget or Auditor General lazima ubunrumini. And it is starting, the journey is starting today. It's starting today. So nge Monday new the next Auditor General kupunu AKA anango Controller of Budget anango ektuai, there is no harm, anango ektuai kongoi.
Aleng to matestaya ko tokto le ngai ni tap chese lewo mune cham ge go gen ngai na ek chuge gure non CPA Nancy Chemoyek. My friends calls me Chemoida. I'm the principal accountant, TSC Nairobi region. I come from Baringo Central. My expectation today is that because it's our first meeting, whatever we'll come up with will be committed. The foundation is always the most difficult part of anything, just like anything. But when we get out of here, when we are all committed, in between the year, we show our seriousness. We are going to come up with a formidable team. I believe that we are all 8 and we need to give back to the community. Service to humanity is service to God. So whatever will come up from here is that it will be something we'll look back in the next 5 years and say, thank you, Lord, we made it. Thank you.
Amen.
Ochame ketugul chito baror kainenyu kwaron Mosop apunu Baringo North, Baringo County. I'm boisiet ku I'm a practitioner. I practice as an auditor and at the firm Mosop and Associates, Kimi Nairobi. We also, as Tanui said, kia ngalek tax, me a commissioner. Mara keba ketebe maswali kidogo kutorete ketorchimbi ngalek tax. Kia kurang ngalek and company secretarial picture macho ku form companies, macho ku compliant with the formation of filing of returns ku kasi nyonota. So, ang petuni para ku my expectation, number 1 to be part of this inaugural launch of AK here. Number 2, to understand more about this association. Number somoge could be one of the building blocks for a more formidable AK here. Thank you.
Kongoi Mosop.
Chamge CPS. Mama kama kainek chuge gurenon Gladys Kechem, CPA from Mosop and Associates. I am an auditor. Ogotonuni also kuba kagomwagalagiyo company secretarial audit, but also we do accounting services as Acacia management consultants. Piero Acacia, Agiro Mosop, we are the same. And our expectation, Agero, we welcome our customers in advance. Agero, ta, agage kwa chektala, ajanet, yeke kwa ketunga, ajanet. Thank you.
Kongoi.
Kora eng Mosop and Associates ke ngalekab audit and assurance services. At the same time ke business valuations and other business advisory services. So you're welcome. My name is Joel Chebon Cherono. Abunu Baringo Legure Saraman Poi. Give me our office is at Apail. You're welcome. We are opening at 8. And you can also come at 7. You are welcome. Thank you so much.
Gongoi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Chepkorir, a senior auditor at PwC Kenya. I come from Kabianga, Kericho, like the engineers, and I'm glad to be here. My ambition for today is to connect with like-minded individuals and also to reconnect with people who have been lost for like 10 years or 15 years. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is CPA Samuel Maritim. I'm a practicing accountant, practicing auditor with a firm called Maritimes Associates. Maritimes is nothing to do with the seas. Maritimes is maritime. I have been practicing for the last 14 years. When I decided to call it quits, we used to work with Mosop, and 3 years after I left, he also decided to follow my footsteps. I currently employ 7 auditors, and I am in Mosop is in Upper Hill. Me, I'm on Mombasa Road. We open at 6. So you can so you can also come. But if you look at www.maritimes.co.ke, you will get a lot of what we do. Apart from that, I'm an author. I have authored a book which is called How to Start, Grow, and Manage an SME Business. Today, not tomorrow. Yeah. I am also a resource person in one of these vernacular stations. If you listen to Chamge FM, I don't know why Kass FM have not invited me. I speak to the people of Kalenjin, in Kalenjin language, and I already know the meaning of accountant. A very old mzee from Bomet told me, although that is a statement, it is not the name of an accountant, so maybe we still need to do a lot of research. So I speak to them. A lot of them call me from Baraton, from Moisbridge, from Bomet, from Melelo, and they ask me very basic, simple questions on how to start a business. And I decided to write a book about that, other than what I do for a living in my office. I'm also a director of Vision Fund, which is a corporate entity of World Vision. World Vision have started a branch and incorporated it as a corporate entity to support our SMEs, small and medium people who are starting business. And Bwana Commissioner of KRA here, we are very happy to report that we comply, not only us, but with our people. But in case you want to verify, we are okay. We are okay. In fact, we support you a lot in this e-teams thing. A lot of our people ask about that. Although sometimes we write to get support, we have to come there for support. So thank you so much, and may God bless you. I expect us in this room, if all of us are clients, we will give Mosop half, then we give Maritimes half, to be fair. Thank you.
Kongoi Maritime.
Yes. Kongoi missing. Macha agata tugulale chamge. Kaine nyunge gurena Robert Tarab Chirchire. Abunu Kericho County. Kokwe nebo Kabartegan Anangoino Road. aboishechini benkit nekikuren UBA Bank aideni internal audit. Abaibai en langatuni nekakituye kibagenge si keratkei ak ketikei kou teren si ke succeeden. Ngeng'alal ak bichun alak kolelen iche kiratkei biikab kutit. Konan aleni kikeratkei man. I think we are very social. Kingen keng'alal kabisa ngeker nibo ina ko mara kotomo kenyoru kora support nenyolu. Kongoi en directors chemi komoswek cheterter, biik chekikonam kampunishek ako kikosir biik cheongen ale boto kora chebo gaa. Kakas ale biik chechang kotindoi 10 more than 10, 7 ongen ale boto biikab gaa. Kolasha en yu nomong'ong'ora ale kikosir chebo gaa kora. So ko yekibwan as accountant kimuche keratkei ak keker, I'm talking on my expectation, ak keker kele ne kikonobu ng'o kou yan kakemwoe en the next mara seats chebo ISPAC, seats chebo revenue ak ng'echerok alak. Ngebwan kora kouni ko matirenikyok chemi yu konyo koker kole uba chirchirini ana kiruini ko utat ko karon kikoi ng'echer kora nebo director in our parastatals si karon komutu lookyok koti en betusiek chebwone. So angen ale yekibwan kibagenge kouni kimuche keratkei ak ngobit opportunity kekere kele kitinye chichi kimuche kokakemwa ile kinegotiateni. Ko ngetuye kemwa kele nokoinewech ano ng'echerani mara nebo directorship mara nebo any other one ana kirotegei en biashara ainon sikeng'alal ng'alek koron komakimi Nairobi ni koit after retirement keng'etu kora ana kebe kaa kityo. Kimoche kacham biik chekikonam biashara already si koron kotestam. We are abaibai en director nebo Kass ndamun you are a very good role model. Kinae kele kimuche kibur en Nairobi ni akotesta biashara. Kongoi missing CPA Robert Chirchir.
Kongoi.
Good evening. Kainutik kyuk kekurenan Jennifer Marusoi. Ayabu Kericho County, Bureti sub-county, Bureti constituency. And then at the moment kumamit in Kassite, then my expectation about this inaugural meeting at least yes, it's a very cohesive, transformative, solution-oriented organization. If you have anything, can you an answer? The senior members, I will tell you what the solution, the communities both in finance, governance, again the other area,
Kongoi. About the secretary, those expectations are going to build up on our objectives. So I hope we are noting the expectations from the members so that we enhance our objectives.
Asante Bwana MC. Akotak tugul nganetab Cheiso wamune kugeny. Yes, kainek chuko CPA Sally Chepkori Rono Tabuts is my very important name. Aya ekasi ofisi nekaomwa konyil chichang. Office nebo controller of budgets. So I feel nice that you recognize that office. So I learned from Deputy Auditor General, I rubu yotab chigilindet. Chigilindet neo in office of control of budgets. But nesire notage ko ami board nebo Association of Women Accountants of Kenya. So kangager ngejere neo anangibure na table. Komagere in yes. So I think from this forum we can chat a way forward. Ole much ke inuman dengo. Ajeket. So my expectation ko number one, gameche aik among the big chetai chikomi this inaugural forum ako kimwachi kora kole kibagenge ko kimnon kabesho mbakewane kabutet. Kongoi.
Chamke CPS. My name is Norma Kigan. I work in Gertrude Children's Hospital, and I'm happy to be here. I'm here to learn from all of you and also to network. I come from Baringo County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm CPA Nancy Tanui. I work with National Bank as a financial analyst. So when Mr. Maritim, CPA Maritim was talking about MSMEs and corporate business, I actually analyze and ensure that Mosop and Associates and Maritim and Associates are maritime associates. I've actually made maritime associates. I've actually made the right financial documents for the bank to admit for the credit facilities. That's actually my work. I'm actually blessed to be part of this meeting today, basically because I'm still new in Nairobi. I'm barely 2 years old. Like today I was asking somebody, Mamangina Street iko wapi? So, and then I was told somewhere, then I went and saw something I was sorting there. Then from there, I know Afya, whatever, where they is. So yeah, I know Afya Center where they is. So somebody told me in the office, Nancy, if you are going to Western Hotel, make sure unajua the greenhouse. So I reached the Afya, then I asked somebody, magari ya kwenda Lang'ata ziko wapi? So I'm so happy and blessed to be part of this meeting today, just because having coming from Eldoret and settling in Nairobi barely 2 years, and being in part of this meeting with senior people, serious people in accounting profession, I count myself so blessed. So my intention is I want to network more. Apart from that, I want to listen to the seniors, the senior accountants. What do they have for us? What guidance, what kind of the foundation are they? Because in the next few years, we'll be on the high table, as my senior member said. So apart from that, when I came to Nairobi, I also joined the Association of Women Accountants. I'm not a board member, but I expect to be one in future. I work and serve as a PFM committee member. So last week we were in the PFM Kisumu for the 7th conference, and I'm the committee member serving in that association. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So tunamaliza, alafu we go to the next phase of the program. So nataka tuendelee hapa.
Good evening. Oamune. My name is CPSCS Celestine Rono. I come from Nandi County. I work at Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency with my brother here as the Director of Corporate Services. In another capacity, I'm also a member of the Board of Audit Committee of Nandi County. Lakini msitulize maswali mingi. My chair is there. My expectation is to network, to get to grow this association. Itebo ni ya watu wa mkono wenye wajekuwa wakilala, to ensure that we are here today. So to get to grow this association and have good leaders for our association as we support them as watu wa mkono, and to ensure that all these expectations that have been discussed are met. There's something that CPS Sally has said, where are the ladies? So when we were looking for people to help us in that table, we didn't even find one lady. So I think after this meeting, ladies, tuende kando, tufikiria where we want to be. Maybe that's one Auditor General or the Control of Budget or the CS Treasury will come from one of us. Thank you.
Ojam gatugan. Kiurena ke mara mwetich. Anabang ejeret in South Rift branch. South Rift branches bago Kericho, Bomet, Narok counties. Awaishe Nairobi. Ami private sector. Aldai Ravisha, Aldai SMEs. Kubare Discount Capital Limited as the head of strategy and innovation. Abu Kericho County.
So kakas biik chechang chebo South Rift. Kitinye grupitab South Rift. Isubi nama kekonon number ateshin grupit. Lakini intentional objectives che expectations en tuyoni ko tor komwoe chairman ak ketesyi. I saw the group as a baby, like Kingeuche 2 years ago, but explain a neighbor. So I'm really happy. I think I'm among the happiest people. Finally seeing an idea grow into something. I will seek acceptance. I will go flying off. Go music.
Agatok tugul en kainetab Jesu, en kainenyon kegurenon Jacqueline Chelangat Chumo. Aboishe ak New KCC as the acting finance manager. Ako my expectation nebo tuyani ko kenamgei eun sikenyoru bandab tai en Aka for good things in the future. Thank you.
Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe tena. Kainaik chu kegureno Grace Chepkogei Rotich. Abunu keyo. Kaituyo ki karibu 4 bunu Chepkorio. For more details you can see me later. Kama mi secretariat lakini ageri chole ga volunteer nane ketoret ka secretariat, but yes, it is always good to volunteer. I Nakuru County representative nebo Ice Park. Ogo Oegasi National Government Constituency Development Fund NGCDF is as a regional coordinator for the last 1 year ago. So that is it. Apote olegamwage agatugul karibuni sana. Ago kama tiole mago go endi form itaga round sigeser olegyo egasi amago kicharbon geser kuma ginyoru that detail. So nanyo form it kum matogeru yo kagiser konyil chechang pa mwisho noto magisera age. So gongo yochi. Yes.
Kuna watu wawili hapa tulisahau wajiintroduce.
Good evening. Anege Gruno Stanley Kimeli. First, I must pass on my apologies because I have to introduce myself after my bosses. I'm an officer at KRA, Tax-Based Expansion Division. I go Tinred, Nandi County. My expectations go networking and to learn from the best. I'm still a student, never CPA, KI Bachelor's Economics, but Kiachame Maths, so I want to do accounting. I'm somewhere. Today I have an opportunity to shake the hands of DC, Gure DC in KRA. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Nicholas Kito. Nandi. I work with the military, Niko Kenya Air Force. I'm a BCom student and nilimaliza BCom CPS student, but now nafanya aeronautical engineering, so nime advance kidogo kutafuta network kidogo. At meantime najaribu kutafuta network ya CPA also. So mimi ni ule mtu nilipenda accounts, but due to work nikaenda kufanya aeronautical kidogo, but meantime I'm still pushing for the CPA. So asante.
So imi CPA hata uko CPA ngapi?
Niko nilimaliza section 2 ndo nikaingia kazi kidogo training. So ikanipoteza kidogo from network ya CPA. But I am trying to come back.
So are you seeing opportunity for mentorship? We need to support him mpaka apate hiyo CPA 3, si ndio? Yes.
Agatak tugul ale chamgei kogen kanyitenik chok tugul ak toek chok tugul chebo betutab rani ko otokotin kot mising eng sabwani kikebwat kele kero ak kikebwat betusiek chechang ako kelechini cheptalel kongoi betutab rani amu kakiyumgei achek tugul kelen kongoi mising. Kainet ko CPA Daktari Lea Samoe Chepkwony.
Kako Nandi, Chesumei, ak Tinderet, makautuyo. As uloi kasi, oi kasit parastato lage nebo roots, Kenya Urban Roots Authority, kebeberta nebo Nairobi City County, atunundochin chepkondokab kebebertab Nairobi City County, regional accountant nebo kebeberata. Alin atoche akot missing, expectation nenyunet eng betutab rani ko kelumde aga. Kelumde toloita. Toloita aenge noton ne aga nekimeche kelumde ak tikitik tugul. Situn ngwam generation ak generation ak generation. Kony kakelumde aga kolumda komie kobwone cha tugul. Ngele kimeche CEO nebo fulani kele oro aga chito nekokorur. Kongokoirur nyo aram ngetech. Kekonin kecheret. Manyone kecheret buch. Ako kakebwa rani sikituyege. Kitinye biik kyok cheechen chemi serikali, chemi council ak chemi takok cheterterchin. Onge make sure ile kesheken a hand to everybody. Amaiwe betutab rani. Alen kongoi noto missing. Alen kongoi ndaik kyok chekikitwekchi. Kakomwa CPA Sally Rono, kanget ale ku comment nebo Sally. Ako worried na amu kongekonech apologies chebo CPA Aurelia Rono. Now she was inaugurated as a doctor today. I was worried to get another person very late. But now we have the guest. Even Sally, you are the director. You are the guest. So go talk it. Feel free, feel comfortable, know each other. Those who are practicing. In fact, I was really earning to see Aka. Was those who are really practicing. I've met with your documents, and they are everywhere. So, Professor Sipieleting, I was requesting if you can still push in the council. You know, we push the other time. We put the scanner, e-scanner, in the certificates of the practitioners. And that one actually is assisting us in the field to get those who are faking those documents. So the next step is to encourage the practitioners. When you are giving out your certificate, can you cross 2 lines? And then issue a certificate for a specific tender. So that when someone gets somewhere, it will not have been pirated. We went from an extent of asking for Muri. We were given Muri. It was faked. We asked it for the ISPAC number and practicing number. It was fake. And then now where it is really assisting us is the barcode scanner, which is really assisting us very much. But the practitioners, I encourage you cancel, like the way engineers cancel. When they are giving out their practicing license, they cancel 2 lines, and then you write to the specific company, they are taking those documents. We are also encouraging integrity in terms of practitioners and practicing persons. As we protect you, remember, we are trying to squeeze your earning to your pocket. Because if these are circulating anywhere, it can be sold even for 100 shillings. But we want just to protect you. So to do that, if we engage ourselves in a network like this, I'll be able in a second to call someone and say, something is going around. Are you the one? And you will be able to confirm. So we build AGA, whereby our generation and generation will take place. At this time, Ngatajin Kandu Interim Chairman, CPA Kwambai, come again his remarks, and then he will take the next step. Karibu sana CPA Kwambai. Pigia makofi.
Asante Daktari, thank you very much. I'll not take most of your time. I think I'm the most happiest person here. Anege Gurenon CPA John Kwambai. My name, not names. I'm a senior. My senior even ameniambia ilele name, my names. I work with County Assembly of Nakuru, and I am among the first few people who thought about bringing our accountants together And we were 3 of us. It was me and the CPA Cornelius here, my brother, and CPA Sarah, the current chairperson of ISPAC's North Rift branch. We started it in Mombasa, and I think we were there with Leting. And Leting has really supported us a lot, and he has mentored us, and we are following in his footsteps. Okay, moche getuyege pamoja tu. So our main aim was gemutumbiga kuti tu, and then we work together and even mentor those children who are doing accountancy. And we also think that because we are the experts, we are the people who know about finances, and they are facing challenges. We have the expertise. We can offer that. And we can offer that when we are coordinated and in a system. You cannot go as an individual. We also have opportunities that normally appear. And if you don't have your representative at the table, you'll not get those chances. Most of us have come into the leadership of ISPAC through mentorship. He inspired us into council, and I'm immediate former chairman of ISPAC Central Rift Nakuru Central Rift branch, which is based in Nakuru, and we work with Grace. She's a Nakuru County representative, and we also have CPA Peter Kitur. He sent his apologies. He was supposed to be here. We also have CPA Dot, who is among the steering committee. She had an event in Nakuru. She wanted to be here. She'll also be vying for the position of chairperson of Institute of Internal Auditors. Simutam support. I know most of you know CPA Dot, isn't it? I also have apologies of FK, our immediate candidate who vied for ISPAC in the last elections. He did not make it, but now because we are together and we are intentional, and we said that this time around, as it has been said, we're either going for the chairmanship position or the council, either one of that. And we have strategies and we believe in ourselves, and with these numbers and coming together to achieve whatever we want to achieve. So we have an interim leadership. I'm the interim chairperson. CPA Dot is a secretary. And in our setup, we thought that we need to involve also the chairpersons of ISPAC, Central Rift branch, South Rift and North Rift. So those are members of the interim leadership position. And we have representatives from branches, from the 3 branches that most of our people come from. We also have two representatives from Nairobi. And if you're in the interim leadership position, kindly stand up. I see most of my people are not here. Yes, she's from South Rift, representing South Rift. Is representing Nairobi. Yes, in Nairobi we have 2. It's CPA Isaac and Lona, isn't it? In South Rift we have Winnie Cherotich. Yes, and there's a guy from, I think he's called the. Okay, and Kora from North Rift is our treasurer. Can you clap for them? So, Mama Chair, taken most of your time because we are honored here to have our guests. They need to speak to us. But we have heard what you've said. We'll collect it and put it in our vision. But today we have a banner. So our launching will be very humble. But you know, humble beginnings. Just like the mustard seed, isn't it? We are planting small, and it will grow big. I'll invite our guests to assist us launch the banner, so that you'll see.
We will do it once the chief guest maliza official remarks. Before he steps down, we'll invite the chief guest to fungulia banner as evidence of our function. So because of time, nataka to move to the next level. And before, I want to recognize the presence of CEO Kass FM, Dr. Lamon. Wave to us and thank you for honoring us. So karibu. So Amajemi, there is a mobilizer of ours who has been coordinating and making sure all our guests have arrived today. and is part of the secretariat, CPA Charles Tanui.
Alina katak tugul ing kainetab Jesu. Ochomege. Oyagas kegureno CS CPA Charles Tanui. Abunu Nandi. Currently go as CEO and company secretary in Koit Holdings. My chairman is Chip Coin. I'm also a practicing accountant and also a practicing CS. So, Kathy knew I empower in accountants. When we were in Mombasa, the ISPAC meeting, we met and we thought we need one of us in the council. That was the first objective. And we strategized to have this meeting. In my 30 years as an accountant, I'll speak up with it. So my first objective has been met. The fact that we are here as accountants to speak up with it, that is a great thing. As secretariat, we've come up with objectives, and we've also heard you. Actually, part of those objectives, you've raised them. So mine is to really encourage us, ourselves, empower our young ones, and let's be a force to reckon. And as Kamar said, it's not even about employment alone. We get a business. So we are privileged to have Kanduik leaders. So my other expectation is to hear from them for empowerment. So our next chairman, I think we can call the guest.
So we're moving to the next level. Tanui happened to have been my boss. In fact, I think I knew very many people. Tanui was my boss at Pipeline. I think before Sang, I was in Pipeline for 8 years. I was an internal auditor from 1999 to 2007. Yeah, before you came in. So Imo found me there. And I've seen some young people there saying they're accountants. I was an internal auditor. Yeah, very serious one for that matter at Pipeline. By the way, my records speaks for themselves. And I've also had some people here from TSC. I chair your audit committee. So I'm your chair of the audit committee. So it's good to have you around. Yeah, so currently I work at the office of the Attorney General. There is an agency known as Witness Protection Agency. Or even in Power Inik. Yara Power Inik choga kagemu. Chukagumu. Ongan gemuis. Kwa jega chige reprieve. So ngonyo ngolo Power Inik choga gele kagemu amio. So amacha gurin CEO na Kass FM. Yeah, chukuguru chairman, kutoka chairman. No, lazima itoke chairman. Yeah, itoke chairman kwa Mwitumi because he's our chief guest. So karibu bana Dr. Lamau. Lazima ingololwe. Agi ngolol jige accountant ni jeju. I know you've interacted with accountants all through. So there must be something that you'll tell them.
Good evening. I think it's very wrong to come to a meeting late, especially when your boss is around. Otherwise, good afternoon or good evening, accountants. I was once an accountant, and I think we are an accountant, you're always an accountant. And I'm happy to see that we can have a meeting of accountants. And I've come to listen much and listen to network also and learn a lot from team that we've worked together in the past. I happen to be one of the first accountants when Kass was started. Hired by Joshua, and we've grown up, moved to leadership and management, and we still appreciate the role accountants do in the industry. Chairman, allow me to invite you to address these great accountants. Thank you.
The chairperson of the Accountants, CBAs, Chairman Kwambai, your fellow secretariat, and whole protocol observed. Chamagetugul. Kanganyo tu yo no ganyo akase gale mechenya. Ganyo mu kagiro le kungi mo won ki soman kele nyo. Kita genge ne kagiro rogu kole ngut kumo nyo yi. Ko cher ngo bichu. Angale na taben matian boisik chuba benda nyu jimi rumene. Ale mugo ge retire so manganale usira so man speech ko atakara ranya ga so man wak lagini gogir ko isait ago kagas ngalek chugo ma chechang kon ngo ma wala mucho networking, professional networking. Ago machi aga ngalega pooling resources. Ago machi tage mentorship. Ago maga providing some pro bono activities in terms of helping the community to understand financial literacy, tax literacy. Utoret bonded DCI. Tanui. Ago ni boy ngorago o mi o tinye responsibility no mucho net project alegab taxes alegab investments ak ngalek cho mentoring the next leadership munga mi you are a generation mucho na lebi ntiginyishi ko choktoy ungo choktoy kumi young accountants and young professionals chumachi ambitions go join in the industry kolasma on it lakini round ni go maja cherak a little bit differently komache a cherak ole you as an individual you are a force itinye power as an individual but when you are collectively you are a force for change. Go to Yege Togul, and in my discussions with one of your CPA guy, Charles, for example, in this case Charles, who happened to work with me on daily basis. Go girigilego lotinye 700 the 1,000 accountants, CPA accountants. Good go machetunke go swong in this system of government and the Kolasmo forming an association. So you are on the right track of forming ole aka foundation nubo tugun jechang chibubi mut ko mataktai. Agondo mo cholubin lagini no gora. O tinye responsibility kialda po isik tuga so ko so mesana. Kung go ito gir ngalegap county ngalek kiosk in county. And I'm sure there are members of your colleagues Chibunu counties. For me, legislation Chibundian county, how will you be able to participate? So advise and correctly. Counties, Chichoy raise any taxes, kuene. Kulasimo participate, and how will you be able to participate? Because you are in offices. Some of you are auditors in certain companies and so forth. So the only thing you need to do is to establish a fully fledged secretariat. No go employing CEO, so go lobbying, go into the galji changulion, gulion. I go to boy and go around it in Upchichigeun, Utuchigeun, Sorogo Changan. And in this case, for example, go to Tinye. I was talking with Charles and I said, go down 1,000 shillings by 1,000 members, go 1 million a month. Time is 12 million. You are 12 million away from poverty. Because and then giteshi ile 50,000 or more ogere ole pichu tukul joti you can moget or raise 50,000 per year. So you can imagine if you have 1,000 members, you will be able to have raised 50 million shillings. And the 100,000 go to no 100 million. Ko oret agenge nekichenye mokornotet nebo kisasi. Kialda boisiek mbarenik. Kimengekitu kicham kotinye 100 acres. Kwalda kourtano sukul kialda eka 5. Kialda eka 10. Akoi nekang'etu 5 nda 3 kityo eng gaa. Ara kiyae nekichengene malik, kisomesonene malik. Nganda kikokonok malik, kikende mbarenik, kikoshare nekineng'ung ko kikinde metit. Atakomwoe let ngale kinone kale kingenyo kokochen a member of parliament komi Kapsabet boys. Komwochi kolenji kakialde mbarenik soro konde metit sobo osetate. Ocheny mokornotet. Ko kit nekararan ko you are professional people. Otindoi capacity neng'wong neongen oker isabu. Melen biik chechang kongen compliance and governance of financial matters could be all experts. Kongot ko form an association, and I take this, I reflect. I have a friend who works for an association about medical doctors, subsets of medical doctors. You've got cardiologists, you've got surgeons, you've got urologists. Agne. Each go to so purposely to enhance their knowledge and their experience, of latest technology in their medical field. Ko takwe go yo tu ye to go pagenge to so to networking. You build a platform, no exchanging in ideas, learning the latest information in the market and challenges that you deal with. Talk. So go authority go search ke. It is good to have an association. Big up calling Jingogi, we had a background of being individualistic. You know, sometimes I get young generation, sometimes for mentoring. Well, John, Ani Boyot, Gillian Jinesi succeeding, Hali, my friend. Mongan, Mamucha Walun, Lagini, I must have failed many times. Sait Yomingu, no? But I don't remember those struggles, more worthy. But every failure I experienced, it was an opportunity for me to learn something new. Ko nibo ingora ko akwe obi chi ngomin onge no grip torobia. Okalia sumo o sochke o tej an investment capacity nene ngong o scaling ngela motinye numbers you can scale your capacity of investments. You are better off than people in the villages because ngutuma creating opportunities because each one of you gongoloni gamwa kamare nyugule aye asolin taban lugo how many of you. That's why DCI, most of the problem in this country is that there are many informal businesses. I want to make a strategy transforming the companies from informal to formal. About you think me asolin taban sawan. Yeah, jitu kun mami jin mo asol kidogo yeah kidogo enyo no lakini ngo site ke malipa ni tax muli ni gere kolom wo marigo ni tax lipa ni pay as you ani marketlan lakini we want to encourage this country for it to develop class relevant tax, but we want also that tax to be used well in terms of gitinyoro kakia maam rabishe western gelioi mami oraten wek malian, so they should be also an expenditure accountability in terms of what we are doing. So amateur more kararano nam opulent resources because you are a team, you are professional, you understand what you are doing. Amosaske. You have so many stories, including Equity Bank, who started a small cooperative in Muranga. You are no longer being restrained by regions. You can be in Wasingishu, you can be in Nandi, you can be in Bomet, but at the same time you are able to come to Nairobi here, easy transport, so you can meet once a month or once a quarterly or 2 years. On it, opportunity. That's how even science from the word go through peering relationship. gives you an opportunity to discover something new or something different or something how to do it differently. Well, not an boy robust professional network, and I'm sure you know very well in terms of you have association like ISPAC, how much a subset of ISPAC, the focus on big work. Ako nde nago mo ole machi ngachirogo machi tungwe ku DG ni machi go editor general ni auditor general ndago gure ne aga na aga control of budget lazima obangan lazima otet ako serikali ni go tigi maibu atitag ne His Excellency Arabu to kule amache ku president Kijam kungo mo ko amache president uso sini boy sigala kesa mo ara magi ko itoy so amesaske no garago mentorship munga utinye knowledge ago ki ku CPA certified ko much advice in the young generations ko they are the leaders of today and tomorrow. Authority. In your association, in terms of how you are building capacity and resources and secretariat, mucho in your certain different region in terms of doing pro bono services, and that can be part of your CSR and or giving back to the community in terms of your knowledge that you have gained. Giving back to the community is very purposeful in terms of what you want to do. Nibangwang gora ko ngalegab onet pi ngaleg net kitinye pi kichang yimenge ngalegab financial matters, tax literacy. Ago igere le system niba Kenya nguno. The tax movement is going towards more and more. They are encroaching more and more to you. Inogu, agonta unyoti ke go nogu. Ago mara mailen wrong ke taxen. Ago ten jesu gile goiten jibaneo. Kaisari igoite jiba kaisari. Ulazima igoite mami maibe jiba kaisari. Ngo bagajin ngonin. Ago itin betu agenge. So, amacha encourage na kalenjo o chergei o chera kalenjo o tuyenge o fomenge bagenge. Nitore tok impetu shikchibatai. Penti ke nishechu monoe inge boni Nairobi many years ago in the 80s. Ugi jamgo mami imoni jamgo kiwanja imoni. In fact, areas like you and Gibu Karen or Lid Gogi or at Tentanuji, very imparent chumpa. And you can imagine Nairobi Karen, you could buy an acre below around 70 to 80 to 90,000 an acre. Again, the problem Gogi chumping the way size chumping so called dough. And then it went on to 100, 500, and so forth. Ugitom gogi jam go betu shecho go jam mo boy shiki mi mon chiki yechi na che go lenje imo chi mon buana alembare ngunga halenji were halenji mne go tu yang et por yot were iya ine halenji got ko tu ngang et por yet ko ya wir bomit ko renyu ko ma wir ne nyina. So mongo ndenak fear or walagishin or we are leading the government. Give me serikali. We have been there in more time. We are fortunate enough after 20 years only. We are back in power. But I think what we want to focus is the economic power. The opportunities in Nibanguno, use the leverage, the opportunity to make a change Mali. And I want to encourage you to be entrepreneurs. Ingele, how did you start, Alenji? With my story, maybe I need to write a book. Like in what I can only give you two things that inspired me in 1969 and 70s and 72, somewhere there. alen bibi alak chekitom kesichis betusiek choecho chang. So kotun kong'et in akebe icham ko kukoinyu ko kikirwokin kotun kebe market day. Ngemi market day ko ngele zero ki business betusiek cho ko kicham kotindoi serikali chekure sales tax chekiru kapkeryokchini biik kabisa kenome kibunu county council ak Land Rover kesima Land Rover kose korenyu ko kiyaore kesimoni nyi sikonyo sokolal kityo tract kari ya mokolongona koba biik boisiek ko iroti sukosiek ab boisiek ko kiba. So how agere anyoru agere butchery ni kialdo bendo teben ali akijana yangi tegen ana alenji ngwere ara nengung butchery ni welenjo nolo ane was chini bakasi kiyoyorenan o mana le ga mi ni labor services ga mu ga arrange alenji ara nguno sieldo ibinyi nengung artan nda bojinde bango agu inquisitive welenjo no anget boyo take wire ko ibarte kwalarte onyo go ba abetwa aleban silingoyen abetwa kaleban jito nebo butcher nigite silingoyen keleban silingu mugane ko ngeti profit jito nebo ale arago tane to ibuartenyu welenjo ni awek tege ga abwat kabisa wale matin awo kigerat sukul ale ngangetan awo som kuwenyu awo le go in arte amecha wae nya e mungara bulo ni mangara ni bano kulinjon kulo cash ko 15 shillings kalda in arte 15-16 there alenji motinyi rabishek lakini tunanyale bani kulenjo ngot kuno ndeni interest ana kumana kino interest kulenjo nilibana siling 25 yewe siling 25 kuma ibarte gai makuri arte gai kuri wona chorwenyu ebe kenyu wiki chumaine amugi betuno kugi market day chumaine kwale galaban bigai ala ngakungitu ngako 70 kalaban ko ngatunet 70 awek tege ali wigino abugini wigino mina kuja awek mawek tege kuguinyo wale kuguinyo my late grandmother ani rabishe kugu chagi kuganji 25 lakini amachi ko narte ale 15 wala no ale ngoti me mache ale be kasha mucha wale jitage mero rabishe chu ana ite power of money ale gal si negotiate lazima itinye robia kumana biashara kumana loan kumkena my grandmother ngale chugilini alenji amuke kipulio talenji kaliasi mechi kuno ile itewo interest ngichami toreti muchukurunik chunala kujinyi mai esa shone nyi hapana lakini kusisika kulo ola kuna kitu ya bure ko ileban interest kumogil mana nyuno laga mungara ito mungara kuni I learned it from the best. The second one, what made me to focus on science in my education, those days, particularly road engineers, what we call provincial road engineers. Chumbek, Chikitinha Kinyasa, Nigirat Kinyasa, Ukuriran Drova. Ata ben galaga nyu chumbintan kapsa tinyagari kapsa aw ugya machakasakas kin kare sagudu wa linji. What do I do to get this? Well, you must be an engineer. You must study early, but how do I become an engineer? You must study science, physics, and chemistry and mathematics. Mathematics, and that's why I took keen interest in science, and that is where my life, bulk of my life, is in engineering business. So I was motivated by a simple act of admiration of a motor vehicle. So I hope in the story that I'm explaining to you the simplicity of how life starts. I think it's very common in this room that all of us started from very humble background. But it means that, but you should not, don't put yourself down because of it. It's possible to make a difference. It's possible if you are determined and working hard to succeed and make something remarkable in life. That today we are running companies that are popular brands in this republic today. And we have location. I'm saying Mr. Letting is a neighbor of mine, so there is a physical address. So go make encourage and have an opportunity. And getting opportunity. And you guys as accountant, one threat that I need to be able to tell you, disruption of AI is going to be very hard on you. You either have to reskill, upskill and do what? Because knowledgeable automations, a routine task, those things will be automated. And sometimes the system of analyzing data, insight and analysis, system will be able to do. With development of machine learning and so forth, it will take to another level. But one beautiful thing is this. The machine is not intelligent, like it's not creative like you. You are more creative than a machine. It's in your imagination and you have something called passion. But in your passion, machine, that's why you go in order, but some signs of AI, unethical AI sometimes can develop, intelligence is developing very fast. And we never know what will be, and its application, how it will challenge our lifetime. But so far, it's good to be able, it will improve your productivity if you adapt the tools, AI tools. It will give you an opportunity to be able to process what you are analyzing, and it makes your life more comfortable and easy. Imagine reports, reports in seconds. So you can imagine what you can do with the time you have. Because at the end of it is that you will have plenty of time. And possibly it is good that technology is evolving to give us freedom to relax. Throughout my exercise, a lot of things. I think the chairman of SCRC, challenges, the mental issues and so forth. But I want to encourage you all. I want to be associated with you for this inauguration. There is Kass Media who can help you to do some documentaries. They are televising right now, and some of them are in radios and other radios. Who encourage you are not too late. The time has come for you, and it is your time now. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, may I say God bless you and thank you all for listening to me.
Ako chairman kutoma itabi mwenye kumaje ilo unjanwe AKA ni officially ako maja guru the high table kopka as we officially launch this AKA. Bas, this is the official launch.
Professor Letting can do all this.
Hold it.
No problem.
Capture and big. Bas, so that was the official launch.
Okay.
Yes. Huh?
But it's officially inaugurated.
Officially inaugurated.
Thank you.
Congo chairman. Can I have your seat? Bas. So kakumache kebe the next level. Karibu chairman. Bas, kimache ke invite in. Kimache ke panel discussion, which is the climax of our function today. And kimache ke karibishan this high table. Kimache ke taune Professor FCPA Nicholas Letting. By the way, Dr. Letting or Professor Letting was my college mate for 4 years at Lower Kabete, classmate. At some point, kikitinye chama ninyo Lower Kabete, nikikure Sikosa, Sirikwa Commerce Students Association. And we were vying with him for chairmanship. Yeah? Auditor. Lakini kongepa accounts kondo ina, he was the first member to be fellow. Yeah. So kidogo harpa kinelet. So we are the two fellows of accountants. So karibu bwana Letting, have your debate. So the next panelist ko CPA Chosang, MD Kenya Pipeline. Karibu. And then Dr. Kochei, he was I call him governor. And I believe he will still be governor, Elgeyo Marakwet. He is from my county. So Karibu. And then our latest chair, SRC. So Kagi Berurin Chepkony. So Karibu. Engele SRC ko ninyo engele matunga man SRC ko ngete in Sara kumanyolin kumaka na msami so umaje ke jam the next one ngele ngotare sami kenyishe kilo kumaka mondo ino maunoto so karibu. So our moderators ko Celestine nyo ako CPA Ngetich, so karibuni.
Thank you, Chair. Oh, Chair is Kwambai. Thank you, FCPA. We are privileged to have our panelists today. And 3 of them are CPAs. FCPA Letting, CPA Josang, CPA Albert Kochei, and our SRC Chair, Sami Chepkwany. Karibuni sana. And we have some very few questions for you. The CPAs here are looking up to you. They are very happy to have you in the room today. And they are looking up to you and they hope to be like you and to grow even to bigger levels. So we'll start our first question with CPA Letting. I would like you to share with us some of the biggest challenges you've faced in your career and how you've overcome them.
Thank you, moderator. I am Jakata Kwaktul Ganeta Pshiso, Jamge. Jamge Ogan Baska Kagere Kagitaugi, introducing Gay and again more like Bunu, Abunan Nandi, the Sume constituency, and in Rift Valley. Abaishe Kasnep as CEO for the last 5.5 years. I have served in public and private sector for 26 years. Tanui was my classmate. We used to be together in Kabete Pesa. We used to call it Kabete Pesa. I think the question, how I've been able to overcome challenges. I think my challenges started when I was young, and I want to summarize it, that my challenges was, I was for the first about 6 or so years in primary school, I used to be the last one in class. And I thought it was a normal thing to go home and tell my parents, I'm number 40 out of 40. I thought the higher the mark, the higher the number, you are better. Until my mother told me that is wrong. Being number 40 out of 40 is not good marks. So I kept on improving. But fast forward to after high school, I went to the University of Nairobi, and I discovered people doing CPA, and I also went to do CPA. My first challenge in the university was I failed CPA several times. I did CPA for 9 years. I am aware of people who did CPA for 2 years or even 3 years. Me, I did for 9 years. But does it make me less a person? I'm now the CEO of Kass Tv. So I'm inspiring somebody among us today that failing is not the end of life. It is the start of a better journey. When we were in the university with Tanui, with our association, we were almost 20 pick-up challenging to give me the university. At that time, in our class. So we decided to have an association. I think Tanui is very good in forming association. So we formed an association, England, Sirikwa, Commerce Students Association, Sikosa. So we went into an election, and I was number 2. It was defeated by Tanui. But we accepted the defeat, and we moved on, and we went on to complete the school, our class. And so in terms of challenges, there will be always challenges in where you are, whether at workplace or whatever. At one of the challenges I also came across for me to rise into leadership, I started my work at BAT, a multinational corporation, and I ran into my supervisors. First month of reporting, I was given a show cause letter why I should not be dismissed. Because of something this guy was a Form 6 guy. I've just come from university, and we had been told to replace those guys. So very ambitious people, we are telling them, can I take over your office immediately? And he gave me a show cause letter and told me to go away, and I fought it out as I was working in Migori, BAT Migori, for those who know. So those are some of the challenges, and I've been able to overcome it over the last few years, and I thank God for that. I think I don't want to say so much because of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, FCPA. I think our next question goes to the trainer in the room, CPA Kochei. You are chair of the council. As you get a chance to start with your introduction, we just want to appreciate from where you sit. Where do you see the profession, and what would you, in our context, what would be the challenge you throw to us in terms of industry changes and the future trends?
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Kochei. I come from Elgeyo Marakwet County, KU South, Kiptenden Village. We are house number 2 out of 16 homes. It's not a gated community, but it's a village that I know how house is number what. I am honored to be here today, courtesy of my friend Charles Tanui, to be here. First of all, maybe just to tell you how I got into accountancy. My uncle was the Commissioner of Customs, the late Chebi. Before the upsurge of politicians, because right now in the village everybody's politician, he could come home in my grandmother's home, and the manner at which he was even just the way he was walking, dress code, the way he could even greet people. I said one time, I have to become what this man is. I didn't know what he was. But I said, whatever he chooses, whatever he takes, I will take. Fast forward, he was a student at Strathmore College. And I told myself in 2000, that I have to find my way to Strathmore. And I took a pickup from Moise Bridge to Strathmore. The first day I came to Nairobi. to look for Strathmore where my uncle seemed to have eaten something that is inspiring me. Fast forward, when I lived with him in Nairobi, there was a way he could, that inspiring, the way he could even carry himself. And there was a certain suit that I said, one day, one time, I will put on. Behold, yours truly is having that suit for my uncle today. So every time I want to remind myself of the values I picked from my uncle, I get this suit. So I bought this suit in honor of him. Secondly, is good people looking at the current trend, and I think the chairman, the chief guest mentioned, we are actually under threat in terms of technological advancement. Just to give you a global view, Kenya, we are 56 million people at the moment. Of 56 million people, 32% are Generation Alpha. 30% are Gen Z. So that makes how many? 62% of those. And when you look at that characteristic of those fellows, it is driven, 90% of what they are doing are driven by what? Technology. And I'm not a tech guy, but when I was given an opportunity by the president to serve in the board of communication authority, immediately I became a technology guy. So I am now a tech more than even the near fellow, because I think I learned. And one of the things that I've learned is that when you look at like the AI, the advancement of AI, even in terms of board management, in terms of the way we are running the reporting presentation, it poses a very big challenge. So much so that as an accountant, we must be able to go out of our way to ensure that you have skill so that you can be able to remain relevant. In fact, I was telling my brother here, CEO, MD, that going forward, I foresee a situation whereby maybe the qualification to be employed as an accountant will have a component of technology. Okay? So it's no longer going to be conventional accountant, debit and credit. No, things. And that means those in the market will age out. But those who are coming, the number of accountants is likely to reduce, but it can only increase if you have the additional technology. And I think to me that is where it's going. So that then we don't get rendered out of market. We just need to ensure that we up our game in ensuring to invest in technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you so much, Dr. At this juncture, I would like to include a lady in the panel. We've seen that it's all gentlemen. I will kindly request CPA Sally Rono, a board member AWAC, to join on these other seats. So as she comes, we'd like to pose a question to CPA Josan. I will kindly request that you introduce yourself, you tell us where you come from, and then you tell us how you handle ethical dilemmas in your practice. As accountants, we know where you've come from, what you went through at KPC previously, and we know you can guide us on how we should handle such in case we are able to get them in the near future. Karibu.
I'm so privileged and happy to be here. And first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate all of you for thinking about AKA. I remember on the 21st of May of this year, I was invited to speak during the annual conference of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and I met a number of you. And one of the evenings, my good friend Charles Stanley told me that other communities are having meetings. And we had a meeting that evening, and I did encourage him to go ahead. And it's such a celebration that today I've been able to join you on your first meeting. So congratulations to all of you. I'm a CPA before MD. I come from Kericho County, And I've had a number of you come from Kabianga. Cynthia there, our famous engineers in the background there, and our very good friends, Edwin Kamar, Marinda Tanui. We've come a long way with them. I have a breadth of experience from private and public sector. I worked in various sectors, especially in FMCG, as well as the oil industry. I spent a lot of my career as a finance professional at East Africa Breweries, where I was for about over 10 years. And when you talk about the ethical standards, indeed it's a dilemma for accountants. And those of us who've, one of the critical elements of being a finance professional is you use your skill to enable the business make decisions. And therefore, decision making out of your numbers are so critical. I do recall of an incident where it was around 2012, 2013, thereabout, at East Africa Breweries. You know, private sector, you really have to push for numbers. So at the end of a financial year, especially the last 2-3 months, is so critical because it impacts on people bonuses, and therefore trade loading is very rampant. And I remember the role I was doing at the time was the head of group business performance for the East Africa Breweries Group. And discussing with the sales director at the time, they were very keen to push volumes, and you book the numbers in the last quarter of that financial year. And as accountants, we are guided by, right now you have what you call the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards. That becomes then your Bible as an accountant. That's your first level of defense. The second level of defense, you must be able to use your relations to ask your trusted friends on how to go about some of the pressure that you do get as accountants. So I remember talking to my mentor at the time was one Gerald Mainda, who used to be the MD at the time, but he had gone to Nigeria. And we had a long conversation that evening of the challenge I was facing from the sales director. And he didn't guide me on what to do. And the issue was escalated to the London office, and they were able then to agree to the, I think at the time it was called the IAS, the International Accounting Standards, before IFRS. So what's the message there? The message on ethical is to be able to stick to your profession in terms of ensure that you stand firm to what the standard says. And then number two, you must have good relationships with your stakeholders and build trust among most of them, if not all of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, MD, and congratulations for the run. Some of us are following you the other day in New York.
Yeah, I think that's the story I'll be able to share in terms of what made me to run. I don't know how many of you have attempted to run 10 kilometers. How many of you? 21 kilometers? 42? I did 42 exactly a month ago in Chicago, and I was number 42 in my category. In a record 3 hours, 7 minutes. So probably I should have discovered this running. Right now, probably I'll be winning medals like Kipchoge. But it's not an easy thing. It's like the journey of an accountant. There is resilience. There is a lot of sacrifice. There is a lot of hard work. Because at times, balancing the work of a CEO and waking up at 4 a.m. to go and run and still report to the office before Kina Soimo and company are coming, you've done your 21 kilometers at 5 a.m. So it's all about self-discipline, which again, most of you in the room as accountants, you have that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Going to CHRP to break the monotony of CPS. Congratulations on the upcoming appointment. So going straight work-life balance. You have heard what MD has said. That's the life of an accountant. Late nights, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of demands from various stakeholders. So how can we maintain a healthy work-life balance in our profession, which is very demanding? But most importantly, we as an accountants, and now when you come to us as a community, we have a laid-back background. How nowadays the workplace demands a lot of self-promotion, so to say. You have to be known, not only to be seen, not only your work to be seen, but you have to place yourself in the right places. Please share your words from an HR point of view.
Thank you. I think that's a very, very powerful question, and I'm glad actually you asked it, and I'm glad I came to answer that. But before I answer it, allow me to introduce myself. Sami Chepkwony is the name, and I went to school a long time ago. I think that's why you can see my hair is extremely white. I think, but so that you know, actually I went to school. Although he was behind me, this man called Samson Soimo, actually I think he saw me, that I went to Lower Kabete. We started in main campus and then we went to Lower Kabete. So I went to school with a lot of accountants. Why? Those years, the accountants were very few in this country. And in Kalenjin land, there were so few. I think we could count them like your uncle. Those are the guys who could know. One is there, one is there. So I went to Lower Kabete for my Bachelor of Commerce and then MBA. But before I ended up there, I was in schools back in Nandi County. High school I went to Kapsabet Boys, and I actually come from Nandi County. But quickly back to now the question that you've asked. I want to say that I'm most qualified to answer that question, because after that I didn't go to practice accounts, although I went to an accounting firm as my first employer. Then Coopers and Lybrand, now is PricewaterhouseCoopers. So this profession of yours, guys, is very prestigious. Very prestigious, because a lot of us, even those of us who ended up doing HR, we wanted to be accountants. And the main reason why we wanted to be accountants is that the accountants were the most well-paid human beings, and they were the guys immediately they finished university. They were the first guys to drive, and those days we were not married, so we were hunting for girlfriends and stuff like that. And these were the same guys who are now taking all the good girls, you know. These accountants here. So you have a very, very good profession, because right from there, you knew if you ended up as an accountant and you went to work as an accountant, your life had taken off. You would get your first car, you get a house, you get whatever you wanted. So the rest of us who could not make it to be accountants,
By the way, I like the story you gave, Professor Leting, where you insisted until you are where you are. Me, I didn't manage to insist. I branched quickly and and started doing HR. And by the way, it was as well, because competition there was not as strong. All the sharp and bright people were doing accounts. So the rest of us, we went there, and competition was not tight. And that is why I managed to work for some of the blue chip private sector companies. From PricewaterhouseCoopers, I went to Coca-Cola, and then to Magadi Soda, now Tata Chemicals Magadi. I worked for James Finlay after that, then Kenya Airways, Aga Khan, and now I'm heading to SRC God willing. And the reason I've said all that is to show you that I can answer that question. Yeah, so as I walk through these organizations, as Professor Leting and MD Joe have said, I've always observed, especially the last weeks of the month, you guys, you work until midnight, 2, 3 a.m. almost every month. So the first thing which I observed from experience is that it was the way the work is configured, the way it is in every place. But now the support system which now us in HR needed to put in place so that these people don't get burnout is to put in place what I've done personally. The first thing I did when I observed that very early in my career is to engage the CFOs, the big bosses in finance, and make sure that these guys are not just professional accountants, but they are leaders of human beings. So for me, leadership is the first thing you must address in terms of achieving a work-life balance. Why do I say this, ladies and gentlemen? Because if the CFO doesn't have the skills to manage people, you find that these people will burn out. But if they have given the HR people in the organization or the CEOs have given the leadership there, that is the CFO and the other managers in finance, the leadership skills to be able to manage people, most likely they will know how to manage the work so that the staff remain fresh, they remain motivated, and they don't burn out. So for me, leadership training has been my number one thing when I go to any place. Leadership training. Number two is resilience for the accountants themselves. You find that sometimes we have different capacities, even as individuals. So one of the things where I emphasize is emotional intelligence, emotional training, the soft skills, so that you know your capacity as an individual. And you are able now to engage your boss and say, this is happening, and because the HR people have trained the leaders, they'll be able to understand. and create a working environment that can be sustainable in terms of people not burning out. But allow me to end by saying that if you are in this room as an accountant, you must be having two things. Number one, you must be having a vision about your career trajectory. For me, vision is everything. What do you want to become? And if you listen to the speech by the chief guest, if you listen to most of the remarks from the house tonight, if you have listened from the contributions from this gentleman, the ladies here to speak, they are where they are because of one thing called vision. And if you can do that as early as now, I see a lot of you are still young, and you really say, this is what I want to be, guys, you'll get there. Number two, if where you want to go, you have passion for it. It is something you cannot sleep. It is waking you up at night that you want to be the best finance person. You want to be the CFO. You want to be this. And you can't sleep because of the passion inside you. If you have those two things, a compelling vision and passion for what you are doing, burnout will not even happen. You will not need to have any conversation with your boss. They will just see you, and they want not only to retain you, they want to pay you more money. Joe talked about bonuses. They'll want to pay you more because you are just flying, because you know where you are going, and you have the passion to go there. Finally, you know, these HR people can speak for years. Finally, is to make sure that vision is achieved and that passion is sustainable. You must embrace an attitude, a culture of learning all the time. Some people call it long life learning, but you must be able to have an appetite, curiosity, to want to learn every time. Why? Because things are changing. I think the chair of chairs was talking about technology changing. There are changes every time. But if you are able to learn, you will be able to adapt, you will be able to overcome all these challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, CHRP. Actually, most accountants end up, especially those in the public service, the maximum, after being a CFO, the next position is usually Director Corporate Services, which is HR and Finance. So you're talking to people who most likely will end up being in HR. Yeah, thank you so much. So our last question is to CPA Sally Rono. I'd like you to talk to us about professional mentorship. Have you had any mentors who have significantly impacted your career? How did they influence you? And how would you advise young upcoming accountants?
Thank you so much, Celestine. And good evening once again. Yes, I think I didn't say where I come from. I come from Nandi County, Mkwen, specifically a place called Kipsikak. So it's really such a honor to be among the panelists, and I really appreciate and I thank God for this opportunity. And I think it's like by faith, because when I came in, I identified this table. I actually wanted to sit there. And then I went for a cup of tea. When I came back, I was told, no, this one is for the high table. So I moved to the other one. But I think it's, faith, I'm told does wonders. So about mentorship, I can actually talk about mentorship, having served in AWAC, my previous committee was CSR and Mentorship Committee. I was chairing that committee. And personally, I'm a beneficiary of so many mentors. I can talk about those in the academia, those in the professional section, even spiritual mentors. So, and I'm glad that most of them are actually in this house. We've talked about Professor FCPA Leting, FCPA Tanui, and even Tanui, I don't know whether he recalls, because he's actually among my initial mentors. When that time CPA, there were no materials. And he's among the first people to share with me a very big folder. I'd never seen that black file those days. So I really want to appreciate. And yeah, we can clap for him. So there are so many people. We have my fellow accountants, CPA Chepcoin, and of course the ISPAC leadership. They've really mentored me. And women in leadership. And I think that is why you see I'm so passionate about women, because I really feel like when we empower women, also we are empowering the nation. And so when I joined the Association of Women Accountants of Kenya, we ran so many programs that do mentorship. There's a mentorship program called Girls for Girls. And I happen to have been in a cohort that just completed. We go through so many sessions about emotional intelligence, as CHRP has talked about, leadership. We talk about navigating the journey in a political environment, even at workplace. So it has really shaped my life, what I can say. When I joined AWAC, because I'm serving my second and last term, and I believe from there I will now move to the next level. I could barely even lead a forum, but through the conferences, CP Nancy talked about the Public Finance Management Conference the other day. We were in Kisumu, and we were hosting like the CS, senators and governors. So that interaction alone gives you an opportunity to build yourself. And so we actually hosted the CS of Treasury, and in the process you get the chance to interact with them and even learn from them, including the Auditor General. FCPA Nancy is actually my mentor. We have FCPA, my boss, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, and even the first controller of budgets, FCPA Agnes Odhiambo. So, I mean, mentorship is so vast. But what I would challenge us tonight is, even if as you derive mentorship from others, the best way for you to give out, because I think Munro talked about giving out. We need to pour out what we have. So please make sure you have a mentee. And I don't know, by show of hands, how many mentees do we have? Let me see anybody who has a mentee. Yeah, I can see. So for those of us who have not raised your hands, make sure to talk to the young people, the Gen Z. I'm really perplexed by the statistics given by Dr. Koche, that 62% is Gen Alpha and Gen Z. So we need to do something because of the sustainability. The ESG is real. And yes, so mentorship, Madam Celestine, is very critical for anybody who wants to grow in your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, CP Sally. I think in the interest of time, I know there could be one or two burning questions from the floor. If there is, then you can raise your hands quickly, and you want to bring up.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Tanui, CPA Nancy Tanui. I have one question specifically for Dr. Kerich for KASNEB. As we move forward, Dr. Letting, sorry, Dr. Letting. My question is on the ESG and how is the organization at KASNEB preparing the upcoming accountants to tap the opportunity on carbon credit accounting? Because that is a new thing that's coming up and I'm really very interested on the ESG accounting. How are you doing it? Are we prepared for it? And maybe the other panelists can chip in.
Any other question?
Thank you. Now, CHRP Chepkwanyo didn't answer a question that he asked you. I've also sat in interviews, and you'll find our AKAs very sharp people. But now, because of presentation during the interview, they are scored very poorly. But in terms of the content, in terms of the knowledge, they are very good. It's only how they are expressing themselves during the interview. So there will be somebody else who will come, talk a lot, but little content, and they are given the job. So how can you help us, to address that issue? Because it's very common with our people. Because I think because of our nature, we don't talk a lot, we do our things, but we end up missing out on opportunities. Thank you.
Maybe because we come from the same place, it's just asked what I wanted to ask. We are very good, but it doesn't come out. The goodness doesn't come out. What would you tell us to be able to occupy the space without fearing or without feeling a little smaller than someone else? You know, like you'd imagine, no, I'm a little smaller. What would you tell us so that we occupy the space and fill the room?
Asante, I think let's tackle those ones. Professor, go ahead.
Thank you. I think I'll answer the question from Nancy, and I also try to assist my neighbor who is still So I think from Nancy, you have asked about the future. There is environmental social governance. Yesterday, I think yesterday, yesterday we are launching sustainability reporting at ISPAC, and ISPAC has led the way. I sit in the council of ISPAC, and one of the things we have done is to try to operationalize the sustainability standards at accountancy. What we are doing at KASNEB is that we are reviewing our syllabuses to incorporate ESG. But I would want to encourage you to try. There are some online examinations and programs offered by, for example, CPA Australia and others, which are very reputable in the world, and gives you an opportunity to get an opportunity to be employed as an ESG expert in this area. But I think in the next 1 year or so in KASNEB, we shall be administering an examination in ESG. So watch the space. But if you want to move a bit faster, you may want to do an online program. It's a bit expensive in other countries, but we are trying to customize it for us in the local market, just the way we are doing CPA. If you have to do CPA with other institutions, it is 10 times expensive than KASNEB. KASNEB is for Kenyans, and it is customized and benchmarked with other international organizations. And we have signed what is called mutual recognition agreements. Any graduate of KASNEB who is a member of ISPAC, you can go to work in CPA in Australia without doing any other examination. You can go to the UK and you work there without any CPA examinations. The Republic of South Africa, we have signed mutual recognition agreements. We are negotiating with Canada and North American region to allow our graduates of KASNEB also who are members of ISPAC to be employed there and work there without additional examinations. That we are doing. So I encourage you to be, one of our vision at KASNEB is to be globally empower our graduates so that they can work anywhere. We did a survey and we found out that, so since KASNEB was established in 1969, we have produced over 50,000 accountants. Only about 33,000 of them have registered with this pack. Some of them are not because they are not employed or they don't have an interest. I've met a number of people who can afford to be a member of this pack, but they are not interested. They want to run their own businesses. Now, to come to the issue of employment, I have had an opportunity to be an employer because I'm a CEO for the last over 10, 15 years. I have sat in interviews and I've been almost discouraged by our people. You know, you have to chituma. You have to be very aggressive. I like the way the French people behave. They speak as if they know everything. And we subscribe to a British system of government where, and being up college, you go, they don't want to be seen to be showing off. But let's go for things. A few years ago, I aspired to become Vice Chancellor. And people were wondering, how do you become a Vice Chancellor and you are not even a professor? I became a Vice Chancellor at the age of 40. There is a university called Management University of Africa. A job was advertised for the CEO of Kass Tv 5-6 years ago. I applied for it. People were discouraging me and saying, CEO Nikasi watu Mulima. I am the first person from this valley to hold that position. And I have served in the Council of ISPAC. And I can dare say, where I've seen a name of somebody from our place there, when there is a committee, when there is a fellowship, when there is a whatever, I always make sure that that name goes through. Tanu is one of them, and there's somebody else I don't want to say now because we pushed his name yesterday to go through. Let me not say his name, but it's not himself. So I want to say that you have to chituma. You have to be courageous. Muskia, I have applied to become a commissioner of Public Service Commission. I want your prayers, but I'm going to present my case before the panelists on Friday next week. And I trust God that if it's God's will, I'll get that position. Amen.
Okay. It is not good to speak after the professor has spoken. But let me just quickly say this. If you listen to what Professor was saying, he has a vision. There's something burning inside this guy, and he wants to achieve it. So that's the first thing you need to have. That burning ambition you want to achieve. Because ngiroji nigigo ikchi kogi ki monje go ki tinye maget koikchi. You have to have it. You have to have it within you. Now, why I emphasize this thing, and these days when I get an opportunity to speak to young people, young, like back home, there is a school I'm chairing the board. When I get to the opportunity to speak to the boys, that is the first thing I encourage them to have: ambition. This guy, and this lady, and that man, I know a few people here. It is coming from the heart. Now, why I've emphasized that and emphasized that is that when you have it, it has to come out in two ways. Number one, you will force yourself to gain the skills required to go to the next level. You will be forced to look for the mentors you were talking about. You will go to ask. I know a lot of people who go and ask Professor, how can I have been invited for interview as PS? How can I? So, but first you have to have the desire to be PS. And then now you look for the solutions. So, alino som gabsabiga bin ka. Have a vision. And if you can, have a big one. Have a big vision. Then that one will drive you. It will not matter whether Ibunuga, we were brought up in a different way. You'll be forced to catch up very, 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 very quickly. And utajituma kwenda hizo courses. There are people in town here who prepare people for these things. Some people are here, I know them. You'll be forced to look for them so that, as you say, madam, you fill the room. It has to come from within, and then you have to look for the skills to do it. As I finish, let me emphasize something which I think is very, very important. Now, once you have decided I want to be this, the most important thing which I've seen people doing for them to achieve that is something called competence. You have to be the most competent person in your field. You have to be a brand. Like me, aboga kapsa, man. In terms of communication, in terms of filling the room, I like that terminology, filling the room. I don't have it. But what has saved me over the years is I overcompensated by really mastering my subject, being good at it. When even somebody says this guy did not communicate, but they can see what you have. They can see what is inside you. So some people actually try to finish the sentence for you because they can see it. So once you have your vision, please get the competence, master your art, master your subject, and people will see it, and they'll give you your space, the one you deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. MD.
I'm hearing there's pressure for all of us to speak. One of as a CEO, and I've sat in many interviews, interviewing senior general managers, CFOs, and other managers. One of the key things we need to invest in as an accountant, accounting in itself is a very introvert person. And therefore, what you need to invest in is soft skills. That's the first thing. A modern day accounting, when we were doing accounts back in the day, we used to do a lot of reconciliations, the fee lookup, and all those things. Today, as my colleague has said, the system will do for you reconciliations. So if I was to hire a very good accountant, what will I look for? I'll look for someone who is very, very good in analytical skills, because I need to get meaning out of those numbers. What does it tell me as a CEO in terms of decision making? And therefore, you need to be very, very good in terms of data analytics. You need to be very, very good in terms of being able to make decisions. And you need to be a multi-skilled person. So, my advice to you in the room, because at times you interview somebody, especially big upka, you can see someone has the knowledge. But in terms of the delivery in the room, it's a challenge. And at times, in an interview panel, it becomes extremely difficult to give you 90% when you cannot. I can see you have the knowledge, but you can't communicate. So my really strong message to you tonight is go out of your way and invest in soft skills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think just to wrap it up from what my good friends have said, again, I want to mention something about first impression. When the interview has been done and actually you are at bar in every other thing, perhaps the only thing that will save you is the first impression. Sometimes, you know, sometimes people, because of lack of preparation, you even don't want to dress for the occasion. You understand? To dress for the occasion. Personal grooming for the day. What my brother was talking about, the brand. And I think again the other thing is, because we are not endowed with all those things, it does not do any harm if you reach out to Prof a day before, just to acquaint you to the environment that you're getting in, just to prepare you a bit, so that at least when you're going there, you are prepared. But again, let me just give you a twist on the other side. I want to ask my colleague accountants, let's again be visible. I don't know whether you understand. Be visible. At the level that God has helped here, some of us, we sit now in those boards and everything, you hear somebody late saying, help me, but you're not visible. You know, visibility. So try to, and visibility is part of this network, reaching out. Can somebody see what you've done, even at the community level? How is your community involvement? How do you even impact a primary school next to you? How do you impact the child that you are coming in? So that when a name, when names are supposed to be discussed, at least somebody will say, no. It's, you know, just try to be visible. Let's try to be visible. Especially the position that you are going to go beyond the, you know, as you go top, over and above qualification, you know what I'm talking about. So please, let's try to be visible. Try to be, I know the way you say accountants are conservative, but please, strategically, try to be visible. Thank you.
Asante. I think we are coming to a close. It looks like time is not on our side. But I know there were two hands there earlier on. I don't know if they have been addressed or still burning. All right. So these are the two, and then closing remarks.
I think my question is on basically two things. Number one is on decision making. In most of the occasions, how do we navigate decision making? And decision making in this case is where you are able to shoot from the hip. You are able to be decisive. And I believe CEO, MD, basically that is always the biggest dilemma around CFOs and finance, because your decision making, how do you navigate that? And then secondly, how do you navigate the boardroom as a CFO?
Thank you very much. This meeting today. Kamache kityo amwa ale remark, not a question. Mi atam mi kalenjin kelin onyigis Cherop. Ako lo chi age ngeboe nebo kelda ketesto nebo mununo. Ako nikenyon nikenno nolin kole ko ngimi opportunity yoto ke interview kole iweku ileni more special like teacher on the panel, you got an opportunity leni you any question the other way around, as we encourage, as we mentor. I've seen that work, and sometimes I got chita no macho ko wing lepta kidogo no stamara gole konge ke we questions chicha angole kopet. So give me that panel, you make sure you with the temperatures. These people will automatically pick, and you'll be surprised that they are very good actually when it comes to service delivery. That's my experience, and I can vouch for that. Kongoi.
Kongoi, missing CPA Kamal. Go ahead.
My question goes to FCPA letting. CHRP, Chepkony. There have been a lot of discussion about where we place this professional qualification CPA when we compare to the formal education. So I think now that we have both of you here now, you can give us the final decision on how we are going to go about that. Because most of the institutions just don't understand how we compare maybe a degree or at the higher diploma with a professional course like a CPA. I think that's it.
My question, or rather suggestion, goes to Dr. Letin. How are you going to help the young people who are unable even to register for ISPAC, not even paying for the exams? Because you meet some young people outside there, they want to do CPA because they've seen people do CPA and succeed. So when they ask you and they'll just visit Kass Tv or get a brochure, they go there, they see the fee is high even for registration alone. So how do you help them, like even giving back to the society? Do you provide sponsorship or to help these people?
Asante sana. I would request that we close there so that we Daktari has one so that we
Okay, basically mine is not actually a question, but it is a comment. As you can see, CPAs, these forums are very important. Thank you, our panelists. The contents are very good, and you can see the CPAs actually have several questions. So maybe when we call upon you, maybe we can decide and say maybe quarterly, so that even next time, our CPAs here can be in the panel, and then you share your story, give your story. You will encourage another one. And then one of the objectives of ACA is actually to mentor and then to bridge the gap between now the CPAs practicing, the CPAs at the middle, the CPAs down, those who have left. You can realize our secretariat actually, I call one of the gentlemen literally because he had stepped out of CPA. And we don't want someone to start CPA and then end at the middle. We want to control our profession within our community, and that is one of the objectives of ACA. Another objective of ACA is to provide economic empowerment so that we can have, if you have CSR, we can cater for those people. And then I also encourage you people, not the CPAs in the house. If you have a farm, challenge yourself and say, sponsor one person. Me, I've mentored so many. In fact, there is a CEO Mahali. I've mentored. There is a reverend which is nearing a bishop. I mentored, and I'm very happy. But me, I like sitting at the bench. I don't like coming at the front, and that has been my weakness. Maybe I need to smoke myself out. So. Those are the gaps we will actually go ahead and bridge the gaps. Basically, maybe the panelists can answer those because our time actually has gone, and then we proceed with the next program. If you have a burning question, you can post in our group, and then now we can reach the panelists. They can be answering. And also, maybe once in a month, we can be calling for a meeting, fire calling. And if we call, kindly join, because that's the time. We need to be near each other. We need to be very closer to each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we'll answer the questions and at the same time make our closing remarks. So allow me to start from CPA Sale as we come. So we address the questions, or if you are not addressing our questions, make your closing remarks as we wind up that bit. Asante.
Thank you. Thank you so much, CPA Ngetich. Yeah, I think Mine is to just close, because I think most of the questions are very specific. But I want to believe we are on the right track, and just to echo what Dr. Lea said, we just need to make it more frequent. We need to be intentional in what we want to do. And I really want to appreciate, even what has just happened today is actually mentorship. You can see I'm sitting with professors and CEOs. So I'm actually tapping into the blessings that very soon I'll also be in that level. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, F and CPS. May God really guide us in this journey. But more so, I'll still plead with our ladies that most of the time when we are called to serve, we rarely raise our hands. So let's raise our hands, let's not fear. I really like the way our speaker told us. Personally, I'm really challenged, and I think now I'm going to, the speed I'm going to move, Professor Leting, you now need to watch me. Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
Okay, mine is really to appreciate you allowing me to sneak into your meeting and listen and partake of all the good ideas that you have. I want especially to thank Brother Charles for kindly inviting me. Thank you so much. And also bring apologies from one guy, Charles, who really wanted to be here. That is the DG for Competition Authority of Kenya, Mr. David Kemei. I wanted to be here to be part of this program, but he had to go to Tanzania for work. So accept his apologies. And I want to end by really wishing this association the very best. I want to wish you guys very well, that and challenge you that because you made the right decision or wrong decision of inviting me here, you cannot afford to fail. You cannot fail. So even if you don't invite me next year, but have one like this, or bigger, much bigger than this, and then bigger the following year, that way. Charles, I'll hold you personally accountable for this, so that this association actually succeeds to empower our finance professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think most of the questions were for me. First, I want to appreciate the organizers of this event. I know we met in Mombasa, we agreed, and I'm happy that it's now coming to fruition. Thank you, Chairman, Kwambai, Tanu, and Leah, and Celestine. I think from where I sit, I've been in council of the Institute, and I've been lonely. I sit on the council of the Institute of ISPAC as a representative of CASNEP. That slot is reserved for CASNEP person, and that position will be vacant next year when I leave, God willing. And I want to encourage you people to apply for that position. Don't be scared. I can assist you to get it. I can guide you. Secondly, I want to encourage you people to apply for council elections. I have seen a number of you can be council members here. Kwambai, you can be a council member. Isaac, you can be a council member. Kamari, you can be a council member. Tanu, you can be a council member. Leah, you can be. I know I pushed you to be in a committee. You are a bit reluctant. I have seen many. What about Sarah? Sally. Sally si ametosha. So I really want to push you guys go for that position. It doesn't belong to people. I sit alone. I see people 2 people from Nyanza, 2 people from Eastern. I'm alone. There are several people from somewhere. Please go for it. Don't even say 1. We need 2 positions there. And I encourage you to do that. The reason why we need those positions is not for our own benefit, but to support our community, to encourage and mentor people. I have personally been mentoring a number of young people. I speak in many conferences and functions. This morning I was invited by, I don't know whether I saw someone from here. Yes, I was invited by the leaders of the internal auditors in KPMG, and they told me be there today very early. So I was the first one there. And they are very senior people from Safaricom, from KCB, and they were very keen, and I could see them taking notes as I was speaking. So they approached me to be their mentor. So, and I therefore want to say that we have a serious opportunity to achieve what we can do as a community. The chief guest who spoke to us earlier on encouraged us to form a society and an association. I wish in this meeting, interim chairman, we can agree and say, and we have people who are going to lead us in investments, and we agree even if it's 1,000 shillings or 2,000 shillings or 5,000 shillings, and we have very good people who can manage it for us. Investments are returning about 16% now. If we had 1 million shillings, it would be about 160,000 shillings more by the end of the year, and many other investment opportunities. Back to the boardroom issues, when somebody asked, how do you navigate? I think it was you said, how do you navigate? You have to read, you have to understand your audience. You have to understand the board. You have to profile the board members, say this one anapenda maneno namna hii, huyu anapenda namna hii, so that when you go for the board meeting, as you're presenting your documents, you already have about a third of them on your side. And you brief the chairman before the meeting. Don't go and ambush. Nobody wants to be ambushed. Even you don't want to be ambushed. So when you are in a board, when you're preparing board papers, brief the chairman. Brief some of the notorious noise makers in the board. Your matter, you'll sort your matter. I have gone through very difficult meetings and board meetings, and I've gone through them successfully because, of course, there's God. Then you also your own level of organization, preparedness. Prepare a board paper that speaks to the objective and the main agenda of the day, and brief the chairman in advance. Brief all those guys. I think you asked about the issue of how do you grow in an environment where there's a lot of changes. I think the question is about courage. As I've told you, it's about courage. For example, ISPAC recently advertised for positions of nominations for fellowships, commendations. I have been the chairman of that nomination committee for the last 3-4 years. I struggled to find many people who can be considered. The few that I find, I insist that these are the people who meet. Sometimes they don't know how to apply properly. I tell them, please apply in a certain manner so that you can be considered. And the reason why you need this is because it gives you, when you're on the table, when decisions are being made, you can influence in your own small way. I have met that many people, including people who have become PSS. I have about 2 or 3 PSS. I have met that personally become PSS. They started when they were green somewhere else, then they have been able to go there. So mentorship is real, and we are lucky to have our new SRC chair here. I have known he's an HR person by excellence. He may appear very humble, but he has a lot of ideas and knowledge we can share with us. So create more time, members of our organizing team, so that we can be able to come together again in the future and discuss topical issues, if it is interviewing skills or learning skills, or now you can be able, and I really want to thank Kass FM for organizing this the way it has happened, so that we can go, you can do it again next time in the future and encourage one another. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Before I make my closing remarks, I think there was a question about which has been partly answered, about what do you do in the boardroom as a CFO. First and foremost, to be a CFO, you are technically qualified. So as you present your papers in the boardroom, make sure you align with your CEO. You need to speak the same language and build trust among the board members. The worst thing you can do as a CEO is, as a CFO, is when you're not sure about the numbers. I used to have a boss in EABL, and he'll say, once I see a cockroach in your numbers, then I don't know how many more, and he will return you back. So make sure you make it abundantly clear that you know your subject. In closing, the most talked about topic today, listening through, is mentorship. I want to encourage all of us that we are privileged to be where we are today. I've listened to each and every one of you, and you're holding serious positions in society today. As you are mentored, let's also ensure that we give back to society by mentoring other people. Part of the reasons I went for my marathon, and many people will ask you, as a CEO, why are you running? I bounced off an idea to my friends early this year that I've been doing the standard marathon of 21 kilometers, 10 kilometers. But this year, I want to make a difference. And I registered for 42 kilometers. And the reason I did that is, and they encouraged me. Some of them said, for every kilometer you run, utamaliza. If you finish, I'm committing X amount of money. So today, we have a Joe Sang Foundation. And we are setting up, so we have a website, it's called joesangfoundation.com. We are setting up an endowment fund. We are targeting to raise 200 million Kenya shillings. And we want to use that money. Once we invest that money, the proceeds, we want to use it to educate the poorest of the poor, the underprivileged in our society, especially from our homes, to go through school. When I was in the US, I got an opportunity to talk to many people there. And today, the commitments we have is amounting to 150 million shillings. So I know we have many people in this room today. Log into that website, where can you 10% up, and you'll be blessed. Asante sana.
Sorry, I think there are two questions I almost forgot. Thank you so much, Bwana Sang. The question about the several qualifications that you have, it gives you an opportunity when you are competing with many people. I can say that when I went for the interview at Kass Tv, 2018, I profiled my competitors as the only person with 3 qualifications from Kass Tv. That is CPA, CPS, and CIFA. So I was confidently telling the panel members, this job is mine. I have all the 3 qualifications from Kass Tv. The other guys, of course, at one each. And so I topped in the interview. The question about needy children who want to, and I was reminded when Joe Sang was responding, we have Kass Tv Foundation. Kass Tv Foundation gets us for people with needs. Government has been supporting it. We have also put in our money there ourselves. So apply, you check the Kass Tv website and you see Kass Tv Foundation. We have partnering with Higher Education Loans Board to use what is called means testing instrument to identify genuinely needy cases. So that's required to do CPA or other Kass Tv courses that are offered, examined by Kass Tv, including certified forensic fraud examiners, all those other qualifications that are administered at Kass Tv. So we are solving that problem. Nobody should be locked out if they have that passion and interest in pursuing CPA or Kass Tv course. Thank you.
Thank you. My closing remark is one of the challenges that we are facing as a community. Kongalega brand. Maybe itikole mogi muchi, and I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I'm convincing accountants. age demystify and the myth. We are professionals and we are competent. And anything that comes on the table, we are equal to the task. Against the laziness, against the hot air. You know what hot air? Against serious people, as against even kindness, college. Because I think that is one of the things. There's a team, there's a concussion. The boy, Muhammad Ali, it's one of my philosophies in leadership. Muhammad Ali, do not count the number of days. Let every day count. And that is the practice I've practiced for many years. Let every day that you wake up count to that which you want to do and make an impact immediately. I think that is one of the things that we need to do. I am not old enough to understand some few things, but I'm knowledgeable to know that Kimi Betu Neginge Majichi Neochinikasi Pururieta Kechin college. True or false? Kinge Maja Secretary Kubongo. Gemaji ne typist, Gemaja Sogorin Kuchitap college. I think we need to redeem back the trust as a community that we can be trusted. The second thing that I want to say is I have an opportunity after Ginke the Kenya Kwanza administration under Kupchirchire, Ketinya Association, Nebochitogun Nemisargale, Nebogupchirchir. See, chairs of commissions, commissioners, directors, council members, and everything. Ketinya Association, Gugure, Pororie state agencies, and I have the honor to be the chairman. So we have a pool of everybody in the Misargale. The lady who is smiling is one of my members, and the three gentlemen here. That's the new sheriff. We are cutting a cake for him next week, and I want to. Amateur Mogita and Gigama, Gigimocha Lechi, Mosirichito Gipchir. Amogigo Negasi, you understand? Mosirichito Gigono, Gigolecha multimedia, Kogigo Shinegel, at least in